I guess, holding up emotions for many years. When do I have a right to clearly state my needs and have my husband listen and hear my case? The second sort of question that I think is somewhat similar on the other side of the field here is, in my house, Daf Yomi separates us. There is no internet. How do I get my husband to show he cares by talking with me?
I want to tell you a very interesting din Torah that I once had. A husband and a wife, and it was a din Torah about Daf Yomi. The wife said to me that she's never able to get out of the house at night. There are many shiurim, many events that she would love to participate in. The husband has his nightly daf, comes at a certain time, and it creates a wedge that it's an impossibility just to take care of the kids. For whatever reason, babysitting is not an option, and she's not able to get out. And she wants to have a life. She'd like to learn. She'd like to go to shiurim. She'd like to socialize with her friends, to go to chesed events. And he's sitting there. I got my daf. I have to get to Madison Square Garden. You know, we need that shidduch desperately. So he's got to be at that Daf Yomi Museum. And I just told him straight out right. I said, your wife has a right to escape a home. You have to facilitate her ability to get out and to breathe a little bit. And where does she want to go? She's not going to gamble. She's going to get ruchnias, and she's going to do chesed. And then I said to him, let me understand something. I said, there's the daf, right? There's dial a daf. There's a daf in the morning. There's a daf on the train. There's a daf here. There's a daf there. You can get this daf in 15 different forms. You mean to tell me the only way is 8:15 to 9:15 every single night? And so finally, he understood that there's no Eitzah, and the wife, Baruch Hashem, got out, and he's learning the daf, and he's doing very well. He's on already his second round, if I'm not mistaken. And once a week, his Seder has changed. The idea of a woman or a man, whichever, but here in this case, the woman expressing herself. Shalom Bayis is not, as you heard, the silence. You know, you can have, there's no machlokas in the house. One lives upstairs, one lives downstairs. I know, people that you're going to say that Shalom Bayis, this is not Shalom Bayis. As Rabbi Feiner mentioned, communication is an ikar. And repressing your feelings is the worst thing in the world. They have to learn. There has to be a way to express it. She should express what she feels, what she needs, what she wants in a relationship, in a marriage, personally, for her own growth, for the growth of her family, for her children. That has to be expressed. And in the event it comes at loggerheads and they're at odds, so as we said, there are venues that they know, okay, we've spoken, we've tried to get to an understanding between us. These are your feelings, these are mine, these are your desires, these are my desires. And now we have a place where we can ultimately reconcile. But never ever should a person just feel, forget it, I'm just going to bite my lip and I'll be quiet. That unfortunately surfaces in many ugly ways in the future and leads to terrible, terrible lack of Shalom Bayis.
Thank you. Here's another type of issue. I'm going to read two different people's questions, but they're very similar. How do you maintain Shalom Bayis in the home when the husband in the house has not brought in any form of income for many years? And at the same time, there's another question very similar. How does one respect a husband who is out of work? Respect is so important, but it's hard.
The single greatest nisayon is when there's not enough money in the home. It's also nisayon not to play the blame game. A person could try, they could try various different means of employment. It's difficult. There are people today that have been without jobs for quite a while. People that were executives in corporations, people that had high standing jobs, that all of a sudden had the bottom let out on them, and they're grappling for the daily food. What I'd like to say is that Parnasa can come in at any given second. that Hashem Yisbarach is sim lev to everybody, and the greatest way that an individual will try and help the parnasa is in opening up new venues, being encouraging to a husband, being encouraging to a wife. I had somebody that called me up on Erev Shabbos. The husband has not worked in 6 years. 6 years hasn't worked. Hasn't maybe worked, didn't bring a penny into the house. If I tell you the Derech Eretz in the Kovid, that woman spoke about her husband, I never heard anything so inspirational. She says, I know it's not him. I know it's not him. And whatever is happening and going on in this house, I am Mekabel. That's part of my job, to be Mekabel. Then she went on and said, even sometimes it's Yisurin. Some Mekabel Yisurin Ba'ava. When a husband feels that the wife, or vice versa, who's ever the breadwinner, feels that way, then they're not put down. Then they have the omets, they have the desire to go out and get a job. When he's going, then after the 6 years he's going for an interview, she's not going to say, well, hey, good luck. I mean, don't be upset if you don't get it, or, we haven't been exactly matzliach in the past 6 years on job interviews, but she says to him, Chaim, I know you're going to be matzliach. Chaim, I have a feeling this time. I know that you've gone through so many yisurim that this has got to be the big bracha. And she encourages him. It's encouraging to her, it's encouraging to him. Hashem Yisbarach will find the way. Hayat Hashem tiktzar. Is Hashem's hand ever too short that there can't be big time parnasa that will come into a person's house? Mi yodeh, who knows the asid? Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, the next day? Who knows, even a Yerusha falls in from somewhere, from a great uncle. But an individual has to keep their simcha, their bitachon. Once that goes, and I blame that person, I can't. Whatever it is that's being held back right now, I can't say anything. I don't know the reason for it. There's a great, going today, a great leader in the world that up until that person was approximately 55 years old, I don't know if anybody knew about him. He sat in his home, he learned on his own, and his wife was wondering, when's there going to be something? When's there going to be some measure of success? We don't know. We have to be encouraging. We have to open up new things and try different forms of, do things that we haven't done in the past in order to bring money into the house. But whatever we should do, we should not blame one of the people and keep up a very healthy self-esteem. It is not dependent upon our respect for another person.